Have you ever wondered what would happen if we used 100% of our brain power? It's a tantalizing thought, isn't it? A question that has captured the imagination of scientists, philosophers, and dreamers alike. There's a common myth floating around that we humans only use a mere 10% of our brain. Imagine that, a whole 90% of untapped potential just waiting to be unleashed. Let's delve into this concept of brain power. It's not about how much information we can cram into our heads, but rather, how efficiently and creatively we can use that information. Think of the great minds of our time: Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla, Marie Curie. Were they tapping into a higher percentage of their brain power than the average person? And this brings us back to our original question. So, what would happen if we could unlock that remaining 90%? Have you ever stopped to think about the intricacies of the human brain? A marvel of nature, the brain is a complex network of more than 100 billion neurons, intricately woven to create the tapestry of our thoughts, memories, dreams, and emotions. At its core, the brain is divided into specific regions, each with a specialized function. The frontal lobes, for instance, are the decision makers, the architects of our future plans. The parietal lobes, on the other hand, process sensory information, helping us understand the world around us. The temporal lobes are the guardians of our memories, while the occipital lobes interpret the visual world. The brain structure, as intricate as it is, serves as the foundation of our very existence. Yet it's not just the structure that's fascinating. The brain is a dynamic organ, capable of learning, adapting, and even healing itself. This attribute, known as neuroplasticity, allows the brain to rewire its connections, to strengthen or weaken synapses based on our experiences. It's the reason you can learn a new language, recover from a stroke, or adapt to a new environment. Think of a city at night, with roads lit up, signaling the pathways of cars. In much the same way, our neurons light up, creating pathways of information. Some roads are well trodden, like the route you take to work every day. Others are less traveled, like the path to learning a new skill. But with repeated use, these less traveled roads can become highways, proof of the brain's incredible capacity for change. What's more, our brains are constantly evolving, sculpted by our experiences and interactions. Every conversation, every emotion, every thought leaves an imprint on our neural networks, shaping us into who we are. So let's pause for a moment and marvel at this extraordinary organ. It's not just a mass of gray matter, but a living, breathing entity constantly changing, adapting, and learning. Now imagine if all those billions of neurons were firing at full capacity. What could we achieve? Can you fathom the possibilities if we could harness 100% of our brain power? Imagine a world where our cognitive abilities are amplified to such an extent that we could remember every detail of every moment we've ever experienced. Picture yourself recalling the exact taste of the first ice cream you ever had, or the exact shade of blue of the sky on a sunny day from your childhood. With the power of 100% of our brain, our memory would be akin to a vast, unending library where each book is a moment, a smell, a taste, a sound, and we could access any book at will. Now let's take this a step further. Imagine your senses being heightened to a point where you could hear the faintest whisper from across a crowded room, or see the tiniest speck of dust on a clean surface. With the full capacity of our brain, we could potentially have superhuman senses, making the world around us more vivid and detailed than we could ever imagine. But it's not just about memory and senses. Think about the speed of our mental processing. If we could use 100% of our brain, we could solve complex problems in the blink of an eye, and make decisions faster than a supercomputer. We would be living in a world where learning new languages, mastering new skills, or understanding complex theories would be as easy as breathing. Our creativity too would be boundless. We could conceive ideas that are beyond ordinary imagination, create art that transcends the boundaries of reality, and invent solutions that are not just out of the box, but beyond the box itself. And yet, as we revel in these tantalizing possibilities, a question arises. In this world of enhanced cognition where every thought is a revelation, every memory is crystal clear, and every sense is heightened, what would be the price to pay? But could there be downsides to this seemingly limitless power? Have you ever thought about the potential risks of using 100% of our brain power? It's a tantalizing prospect, isn't it? But like most things in life, there are two sides to every coin. Let's delve into the possible flip side of this intriguing concept. Imagine the brain working at full capacity. It's like a machine running non-stop, without breaks. This could lead to mental exhaustion, a state where our brain, much like an overworked engine, simply burns out. Now consider overstimulation. Our brains are designed to filter out unnecessary information. If every neuron was firing at once, we might be bombarded with too much information, overwhelming our senses and potentially causing confusion or distress. Then there's the risk of neurological disorders. Our brains maintain a delicate balance of chemicals and electrical signals. Disrupting this balance by pushing our brains to their limits might precipitate conditions like epilepsy, characterized by excessive and abnormal neuronal activity. And let's not forget the ethical implications. If we could enhance our cognitive abilities to outstrip others, wouldn't that create an uneven playing field? Could it lead to a new form of inequality, where those with enhanced brains have an unfair advantage? So, perhaps the question is not about using more of our brain, but rather using it more effectively. After all, it's not just about quantity, but quality as well. So, what's the takeaway from all this brain talk? We've journeyed through the brain's hidden potential, unraveled some of its mysteries, and dabbled in the idea of harnessing a full 100% of its power. We've also glimpsed the flip side, the potential risks involved. But here's the real deal. While the idea of using 100% of our brain power is tantalizing, the focus should be on optimizing the use of our brain as it currently functions. Remember, it's not about using more of the brain, but rather using the brain more effectively. Now, how will you use your brain power today?
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. That's all for Nifty Narrations.